Hi everyone, from me, Brent Graham of Good for the Game, and welcome to the WSB Cape Met preview for 2023. Well, it's been a frantic day of load shedding here in South Africa. What's new? Well, it is new for me because I haven't had load shedding for about 7 months, and I'm suddenly back on the grid, and I'm not enjoying it one little bit. I can tell you, a man who has suffered plenty of load shedding of late, but he's up nice and late at night. I know he's a bit of an early to bed kind of guy to talk about the Cape Met. Is Chris Sturdy of Good for the Game. Chris, great to chat to you, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Brent. Just me and you, bro. We'll go through it and let's see if we can find a couple of winners.
Excellent. Yeah, just a reminder, if you are new to our channel, you can hit the subscribe button. And also down below the video, I will put the link to the betting email we send out once a week as well. Not too sure how many live viewers will get at such short notice, but I did see we had our good friend Oracle, who was in. He'd also joined me on the rugby show earlier, and Johan Esther Hazen, who's looking forward to that. And then I think we've got some. I'm guessing it looks like we've got maybe a spam coming in after that. I'll have to keep an eye on that one. Anyways, Chris, let's get into the Met. What I'm going to do, it is sponsored by World Sports Betting. I'm going to bring up their site and talk through things. I normally have a second monitor going, which makes it a lot easier for me to share screen. Unfortunately, now I'm just using one. So I'll be looking at the World Sports Betting site and just shout if anything looks really strange to you. What happened there?
All good so far.
Is that? Let me just have a quick look there. Yeah, okay. I thought I'd hit the wrong button. Okay, so let's have a look. Chris, at the moment, we've got joint favourites here at 7-2, Make It Snappy and Jet Dark. Any comment on those two favourites from you?
Yeah, very, very tough race, Brent. I mean, there's your 1 and 2 from last year, Comedy Ding and Jet Dark. You've got your 2 3-year-olds, Make It Snappy, the filly, Cousin Casey, the colt, who were, not carrying an awful lot of weight. You've got Sparkling Water, who's your July winner. Almathana, that turned over Hot Pot Charles Dickens in the King's Plate. Universal, Golden Dakar. The story might not stop there. So, yeah, fantastic race. Difficult to pick a winner for sure. Yeah. I've got my own views, but not any race where I would say confidently I'm going to banker this or double banker that. I think you need to go wide in the exotics.
Right. So give us let's go through your fancies for the actual race itself. Then, what do you fancy for the Met? Are we gonna get an upset in this one, or do you think there's going to be the favourites fighting it out?
Never say never, but I think we're looking at the first 8 or so in the betting. We've got to narrow it down from there, obviously, because we're going to try and find people a winner. Respect to all of those in the front running the betting, and you never know who might come through at a big price. But for me, the 2 3-year-olds are massive runners. That's Make It Snappy, the filly that I mentioned, 51.5 kgs. Sparkling Water's only got Sparkling Water, is a 5-year-old now, but with 57. Cousin Casey is the other 3-year-old, and that's the one that I'm interested in. Is Cousin Casey, champion 2-year-old elect? No two ways about it. It was absolutely brilliant as a 2-year-old. Colours lowered by Charles Dickens in the Cape Guineas, crying out for 2,000 for me, and I like that one. And I make Sparkling Water the danger, which is the Met winner, carrying 57.5. This one's a filly. Not a bad run last time out in Cape Town. Was the favourite for the Summer Cup. Fluffed its lines a bit there, but reading the computer form, they said that not striding out, so maybe excuses there. I think Mike de Kock will have this girl spot on. So for me, it's 14-5, and I'm sort of tossing a coin, but I'm coming down on the side of the 3-year-old Cousin Casey.
Now, Cousin Casey, your horse that's running in the Guineas next week, Chris. You didn't run against Cousin Casey at some point, did you? It rings a bell.
Yeah, twice. We've seen the backside of Cousin Casey twice in the KZN feature season.
Okay, so I've got that right. So,
in June and July, yeah.
So just to digress a bit, but I know. So yours is Royal Victory, eh?
Yeah.
Royal Victory's running next week in the World Sports Betting Guineas in Joburg, and you coming up for that. But Well, I didn't really. I mean, I knew Royal Victory was good, but here we go. You know, the favorite for one of the favorites for the Met, and there wasn't that much between Cousin Casey and Royal Victory. It just shows you what sort of horse you got there in Royal Victory.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I mean, it would be great if we were running in this, but we decided that we'd go to Joburg, you know, and you know, to be honest, I mean, I don't see that Cousin Casey's done anything wrong other than get beaten by Charles Dickens, who unfortunately isn't running in the Met. Other than that, you know, its record in feature races is absolutely superb. With 54 kgs, and yeah, there was a lot of money for the favourite when the betting first came out. Make It Snappy. The filly, and you know, there's absolutely nothing on her back with 51.5. I don't think the difference is the distance is a problem. She's going to go well, but I just prefer Cousin Casey. I think absolutely crying out for this distance, and that would be where I would lean. But massive respect for Sparkling Water, and there's others that you know you can make a case for at least the first 8. And there could well be a roughie that sneaks in.
Right, and Chris, just if you had to pick one from the bottom half of the table, there's something that might run into the top 4, run into swingers. What would you come up with there? Anything that you think might be a little bit overpriced there amongst the long shots?
Yeah, you know, something to make your quartets pay. I mean, for the exotic players out there, there's a pool of estimated 5 bar for the quartet, you know, with the carryovers and everything. Right. And that's where you are looking for something 20 to 1 and hopefully a bit higher to sneak in to really make it pay. Yeah. Tough. Maybe Zapatias. I quite like. I know that Kevin on our forum, KT, he last week said Golden Ducat might well be a bit overpriced, and he's got the number 1 gate. That's the 30 to 1 shot. That would help your dividend. But yeah, difficult, Brent, for me to say like, oh yeah, this would be the one. I really like this, you know. And I do try and look outside of the box. But no, and you know, I think the winner comes from those most prominent in the betting. And if you can find one that'll run into the quartet and boost that dividend, then good luck to you.
Oh, excellent, great. Well, we're going to go through some of the other races on the card now, Chris. And then at the end, we've also got we've got a couple other comments from some of the other Good for the Game boys, which we'll discuss. And just a reminder, you can go onto our forum for more tips. I haven't got the link in here on the live show, so if you're watching it live, go onto Good for the Game and click on GFTG forum. If you're watching the recorded version, I'll have the link into the horse racing chat there. But let's start. Which race would you like me to go to first, Chris?
Well, Brent, to be honest, I've focused mainly on the exotic races. There's actually 3 jackpots, and the first one starts in race 1. So an early start for people that want to punt the first jackpot. But the pick 6 starts in race 4, and that's where you've got what will be many people's banker in the day, Captain's Ransom, running in race 4. And I think the price at the moment,
let's have a look. Price is 9 to 20. Yeah, very short. Why do you carry on talking there, Chris? I'm just going to bring up all the races at once. It'll be easier for me to scroll.
Yeah.
But Captain's Ransom 9 to 20. I mean, that's obviously, as you say, going to be a proper banker for many.
Yeah, it is. And you know, I always get together with my mates on a Saturday, and we have a go at the jackpots normally, but we are going to do a pick 6 tomorrow. And we were saying in midweek when we had a preliminary chat about this, it would be nice if Captain's Ransom at 9 to 20 was actually not in the first leg of the pick 6, because we're probably going to go wide and throw quite a lot of money at it. And if things do go pear-shaped there, it basically cuts short your afternoon's entertainment, you know. I would much rather this be the last leg of the pick 6 than the first leg of the pick 6, but that's not the way that the cards have fallen. Difficult to oppose, though. I mean, Mike de Cox does a miracle, a fantastic horse, and there's some great talent further down. But Captain's Ransom, 3 from 3 over course and distance. Yeah, I think we've got to nail our colours to the mast for the exotic players and go with this as a banker. And that will allow us to go a little bit further, a little bit wider elsewhere in the pick 6s and place accumulators as well.
Well, let's look at race 5 then. Anything for you there? I see here we got Nevada King 4-1. So this is a much more open race. We don't have a 9-20 favorite in
Yeah.
this one. We've got 4-1 the field. So this looks like one where you almost the reverse psychology. You almost want to find something here that you could almost put just 2 horses because you'll be getting a big edge on everyone else. But the reality is you may have to go wide here.
Yeah, definitely. To me, it looks like one that you could go wide. And so I studied and studied and studied because I thought I don't want to throw 12 horses in my jackpot or pick 6 or whatever. There's one that I like here, Brent. Drawn well, number 2, Bardolino. Had a break and then came back and had first run as a gelding, which was a perfectly adequate run for me. Look, it's a 74 handicap. Justin Snape's got, I think, 5 of the 15 runners, and you can make a case for pretty much all of his runners. And he likes, he's no stranger to having a winner on Met Day, whether it's the 74 handicap or the Met itself. So you got to respect those. But I do like this Bardolino, and about 8-1 at the moment. I would go there. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to throw it in as a banker in the exotics, but it gives me the opportunity maybe just to put 3 or 4 others in. And in terms of having a win bet on every race, yeah, I'll go with Bardolino. I like that one.
Right, let's move on to the 6th race. Then here we've got a juvenile race over 1,100 meters. We've got a firm favorite here, not odds on, but the Abdicator at 17-10. You're going to take this one on?
Difficult head because juveniles, when I made my notes on this one, 16 runner field, 5 of the 16 won first time out. Then you've got others that can always be better for their run. Maybe they weren't quite as tuned up as as what their counterparts that have won first time out might have been. So it gets pretty difficult, and this is where exotic players are going to struggle, because I think you've got the Abdicator has the best form of those 2-year-olds. If you want to take it on, you're going to be having to go wide, But so much can go wrong. These girls and boys, they've only had 1 run. We're now going 1,100 meters, whereas most of them run over either 900 or 1,000 first time out. Yeah, they're difficult. The Abdicator's got the best form. My thinking here, Brent, is to hold fire and see if there's any money, serious money, after trainer comments and whatever have been taken into account, and see the betting moves on Saturday morning. If there's nothing seriously backed against the Abdicator, that could well be the way to go. But yeah, you're taking a chance, man, with a baby that's only had 1 run. And yeah, difficult.
What are you doing in your pick 6? Are you going wide in the pick 6, Chris?
I'm going to look at the betting on Saturday. I'll tell you what, if I was having a win bet, I would actually wait and I would watch them go down and see who's behaving, well. See who looks absolutely fantastic on the day. We're recording this on Thursday night. We haven't got that luxury. We can only go on what's in front of us in terms of form, and having studied race replays, the Abdicator does look the one, but I'm not abdicating banker in it, if you'll forgive the pun.
Well, Pat asked you what's the best bet besides Captain's Ransom. We'll cover that at the end of the show. And then Oracle also mentioned I'll be talking to him tomorrow afternoon on the races as well. He was meant to join us, but due to load shedding couldn't. So we'll run that separately with him tomorrow at about 4:15. Let's go on to the next race. It's the WSB Gold Rush over 1,600 meters. It's race number 7. And here we got another 4-1 field race here. Chris, Royal Aussie, the favorite.
Yeah. The thing is with this race, Brent, you're looking at a $7.5 million purse. It's a race that was set by where the horses were actually purchased to make them eligible to run in terms of the sales that they were purchased from. On form, Royal Aussie, and on ratings, Royal Aussie is a deserved favourite. But I don't think it's quite as simple as that. Number 7, See It Again, comes from KZN. Good form there. There are some horses from KZN that have been campaigned in the Cape Town season, and they're actually doing really well. Michael Roberts has obviously decided to bring this one across. I'm almost certain with this race in mind. Yeah, big runner. Dave the King. The 2-year-old form was probably better than the recent runs. Winter Greeting of Sean Tarry's, I think he's got 3 runners in the race, and this is obviously a stable elect in terms of the jockey booking. Time for Orchids, some fantastic runs over 1600. Now back in trip, a couple of hundred. Yeah, man, really, really tricky. Again, I think you want to go as wide as possible. If I was going to stick a pin in, and it is a bit of a throwing a dart at the board, I'll go with See It Again.
See It Again, a nice price there of 14-1. Let's move on to the 8th race, which of course is the race just leading up to the Met. It's the Cape Flying Championship over 1,000 meters. And here we've got another open race. And gee, Chris, the more I look at this, the more I can see why everyone's going to be bankering Captain's Ransom in the opening leg. Because, geez, there's some really tough races to get through after that. And here we got Princess Taylor at 4-1.
Yeah. Now, if we look at those first 2 in the betting there, Brent, don't scroll down anymore if you can just hold it there, right?
Right.
Look at the draws, right? Princess Color has been absolutely fantastic. This horse can win group races over 1800. And this year she's been campaigning in the Cape over the sprint distances, first 1,000, then 1,200, now back to 1,000. She's drawn 16. She's won a last 2 races, and there's no reason why she wouldn't win this one. She's drawn 16. Isi Vungu Vungu, if I've pronounced that right. Another one from
better than I would.
Now drawn 1, right? So now we've got the 2 favourites drawn on either side of the track, and this is a wide track, man, Elysian Chief coming down from Joburg, never run at Kenilworth before, I believe. Fantastic horse on its day, and the way that's been campaigned with a prep and then heading to Cape Town suggests that they've had this on the radar for a long time. Southpaw, our good mate, who is no stranger to big feature race winners. Last week, he highlighted Gimme a Prince. And I think that was maybe at 10-1. And now I see 15-2. And, he liked the way that
when Southpaw highlights something a week or 2 before the race, you can almost guarantee it's going to shorten, eh?
Yeah. And then you've got Mike Azzi, who's got maybe 4 runners in the field, I think, including last year's winner, which popped up at a huge price. Master Archie is the shortest of his runners in the betting and doesn't seem to have had the form this season. But again, this guy knows how to lay them out. This is a massive race. It's huge. Yeah, really, really difficult. Princess Color, I know Jason likes. Yeah, Jason Little Woozy. I know that he likes Princess Color, and I wouldn't pick a fight with him. Yeah, man. Again, I think if you've got the budget in the exotics, you go as wide as possible. I'll throw my dart with Elysian Chief, but more in hope than confidence.
Right. Well, that means, if I'm right, that the Met is actually the last leg of the pick 6.
The Met is the last leg of the pick 6. Yeah.
Well, okay, so that's gonna be very interesting if you're still alive going into the Met there. Good luck to you, Chris. Anything else on the card you want to highlight?
Very, very cleverly structured by the racing operators there. Throwing the juvenile race in, and yeah.
And Johan Esthuizen saying he likes Master Archie. I think it was the penultimate race we're talking about there. So, Chris, anything else that catches your eye on the day? Maybe tell us a bit about your betting strategy.
Okay, there is one later on in race 11, and I know Southpaw's on the same page as me here. Dance Variety in race 11, Brent. And I'm interested to see the betting here. Yeah,
10-1.
There was some 12s around at first show. I mean, the betting's been out for since the early part of the week, and I've seen as low as 8-1 with another bookmaker. This is another one that's had one prep run, hopefully with this one in mind, and that was its first run after gelding. And yeah, 10 draw, not ideal, but it's hard to see how the draw's going to work out. A lot of them have been making a beeline for the stand side when they've been coming round the turn, which might not necessarily mean that being drawn wide is as big a handicap as what it might have been. Again, very, very tough race. But Dan's Variety caught my eye, and I know that Southpaw's also keen on that one. So that would be our selection there. Right. And if we go back, although I haven't spent an awful lot of time on them, Brent, but second leg, I mentioned...
second leg of the pick six or second race?
No, sorry, race two.
Race two.
If we go back to race two, there's a horse here that Southpaw's labelled to us on our WhatsApp group. And you might have to scroll down a bit, which will make people's eyes light up.
Really? Scrolling down more?
Yep. Aspect. 20-1.
Oh, here we go. Aspect. 20-1.
Yeah. This one's run very, very close to a horse called Rockpool. Admittedly over a shorter distance. But Rockpool won the feature last week. And looks a top horse in the making, probably a Derby horse. So, again, we got to take the distance that they ran over with a pinch of salt. But here we've got Von Marshall. He doesn't seem to have an outstanding runner on the day, but this guy can make them pop up at big prices. And I know that Southpaw's really keen on that. I fancied a horse called Bardolino that was very closely matched with Aspect, that's running in race.
Oh, yes, you tipped it at 8-1.
Yeah,
about the fifth or sixth.
And Southpaw said to me, well, if you like Bardolino in that race, you've got to like Aspect in race 2 because it's a weaker race, and at 20-1, you can't get hurt there. So credit to Alan, he spotted that one. If it comes in, nobody can get hurt at that price, maybe an each way bet as well. And it could well be shorter in the morning.
Well, I was going to say, as I say, I know Alan very well. And when he tips a long shot, it always comes in. So my advice to you, if you are one of the guys watching the show live, and I see we've had quite a few live viewers tonight, then you want to get on Aspect sooner rather than later because that price is going to come in when other people realize that form line as well. Chris, anything else you want to highlight on the card?
No, I think that's about it for me. There is a stayers race after the Met. Nebraska is the favorite. Looks like it's got Chrome Yellow and Silver Host to beat. But by then, if I've if I've come through the exotics or whatever, I think my day will be closed, and hopefully I'll be smiling. So no, I'll leave it at that, Brent.
Excellent. Well, just a reminder, I'm going to be speaking to the Oracle tomorrow at around about 4:15. Watch social media channels just to get confirmation of the time. And also, we're going to be announcing in the newsletter tomorrow a big sponsorship, or an excellent sponsorship for the handicap over the next month, covering maybe the 6 nations. You will need to be a subscriber of our newsletter to qualify for the opening competition, which is going to be a very interesting one. So do go down below the show and hit the subscribe button there onto our betting mail. It is free, and I think we'll have to have probably a couple of tips for the Met tomorrow as well. But Chris, it was great having you on the show. Thanks to the guys who did watch and join us in the live chat. Final word here from Pat saying Nebraska is also one of the better bets of the day. Chris, any comment on that?
Well, I'm not going to argue with Pat there, and that might be the one to be on later in the day if you're still playing at that time.
Excellent. Well, thanks everyone. I'm looking forward to the Met. As you can probably tell, I haven't studied much form yet, but I'm already fancying a couple of 8 and 20-1 shots after talking to Chris tonight. Just nothing like this show to get me excited for it. Chris, thanks a lot, and thanks to everyone. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon for a bit of a chat with Oracle Rugby talking about horse racing.